Fair play.
To the whirl.
Yeah, there you go. To the whirl indeed. Welcome back to Toffee TV. It is the press conference reaction. Obviously, me and James did the live before, the Everton Daily Live. Me and Pat just going to talk for a little bit about the press conference and anything else that comes up. But David Moyes has just done his press conference. Didn't really learn much. Michael Keane's have come through all right, so he'll be available. No one else is being added to the squad, but we didn't really expect it, did we? And he was very non-committal, but then sort of backtracking, because he said it's more unlikely than likely, but then said, but I might think it's more likely than unlikely. So he was basically just trying to keep everyone guessing as to whether Everton will strengthen. But he did say, what did you make of him saying? You know, Angus has said there won't be any quick fixes in his programme notes.
Well, he said the owners didn't want any quick fixes, and so I get that, and I approve. I don't think it's about quick fixes. I don't think it's about. Does that mean there's not going to be any loan signings then?
No, I think he meant buying players who were like, you know, Jarrett Bowen's available for 35 million,
no, I get
30 to 30 or something.
Listen, James is devastated because he wants Callum Wilson.
No. He has said that
quite often.
In all things.
He is the...
Don't like a bit of Callum.
Callum Wilson.
I don't think it's the worst idea in the world to get Callum Wilson.
No, the worst idea in the world is like...
Jamie Vardy.
is like releasing you know...
Vardy's done well.
No, I know, but that's Peds hates Vardy.
No, but I'm...
Not good enough anymore.
He's done
what do you
well,
feel on Callum Wilson?
It's weird that West Ham are releasing him. He started against Wolves.
I know, but they've just signed 2 strikers and he's on pay-as-you-go, so he wants to go as well.
He can't even get a phone contract.
No.
He's
That's how bad it is.
Is that how bad the injuries have become?
The porn industry, because you need to be verified now. Their porn industry.
Sorry, you seem to know quite a lot about this.
No, because
you seem to know quite a lot about
David
this.
Sullivan. I've got an interest in David Sullivan because I can't understand how he's still.
What a really weird turn that just took.
Really, because that's what they are.
We went from Callum Wilson
to porn. Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe Sullivan's gone. Swerve the footy. Come and have a little dabble at this.
That was a worse.
Good looking lad at that age.
That was a worse turn than the last centre forward they had. And look what happened to him when he made that turn. You know what I mean? Just soaked into Baz's brain.
I took it. I just had to leave it.
Fair play. What a turn.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where West Ham's downfall has come from.
The porn industry.
The verification.
The money. The money dried up a bit, hasn't it? The money.
Something's dried up.
Anyway,
dark
to the press conference. Yeah.
No, I don't think any of us need. I don't think we need quick fixes, do we? It's like, I think it's a case of just getting, as he said, getting through this tough period of like players wise. It is weird. It is weird, and we all play our part in this. It is weird how our, you know, we us football fans, you're at one level and all you want is the next level, and then when you get to that level, all you want is the next level. That's a football fan, isn't it? Nothing is ever sort of now good enough because of what you're shown constantly, like by the media. Everything is a quick fix. We've seen that this week. We've seen that with the manager being sacked. We've just seen a manager being announced this morning, given a 6-year contract or 6.5-year contract, and could be out the door within a year. So it's like on one hand you're going, he's going to be here for years, and then you're on the other hand you're just like, that's never going to happen either though, and he'll probably just be sent back to Strasbourg, or they'll buy another club just to put him in because it's cheaper to buy a club than pay up his contract. You know, it is such a quick fix sort of world we live in now. And so football fans are very fickle in that way, and we all are. We've just come back. We've just beat Forest, and then we get beat a few days and later, and it's the end of the world. And you know, we might be sitting here in 2 days, 2 days time, and we're all back happy again. So that's as a manager, he has to look at the bigger picture, obviously, and not pull emotion into it. And he is right what he says. You know, we all know what we want in our heads. In our heads. That's really easy, isn't it? Just go and buy a right back. Go and do it. But if there's no right backs out there, or there's no right backs that are available to the summer, then. But we don't accept that as fans, do we? We just don't accept the reality of sometimes the situations.
But that's fair, right? But wouldn't supporters say that we're looking at the bench at the moment and we're seeing 2 goalkeepers and sort of like 3 young players who haven't got a second of Premier League experience between them, and going, clearly we're stretched. We've played a situation on Sunday where the manager's played a half-fit centre-back. We've got a centre-back playing at right-back. And our other right-back, the manager doesn't fancy, even though we did all right against Forest. And our other right-back is injured and showing no signs at the minute of being available again to be in the squad. So wouldn't people look and go, well, there's a lot of football clubs in the world where you could get a right-back who could come in on loan or whatever and make us a little bit better.
You could go and get a right back. There's 2 ways of definitely thinking about it, isn't there? There's like, Moyes doesn't sort of look at the picture and go, he wants wins, doesn't he? He wants wins. It's as simple as that. We saw that at the back end of last season. He wants wins. But there is definitely a school of thought that says, well, for the rest of the season, actually, we should just play Harrison Armstrong, right? In centre midfield. He's a young lad. He's a talented footballer. He's the future of Everton Football Club. And really should just play him. And you should do the same with Jake O'Brien in centre-back. And you're playing Barry up front anyway. And Diblin should play. And maybe, when Njai comes back, he plays back on the left and Jack Grealish goes down the centre. And we just start going, you know what, we're building for the future. We're safe. Let's build a team. Let's get Asnu some minutes. Let's get Maitland Rose some minutes. And start moving away from Michael Keane. And start moving away from not having a right back. And if that means going to buy a right back right now that you've gone, oh my God, he could be amazing in a few years or whatever, then go and buy him now and just play him at right back. Do you know what I mean? Because when you think about Michalenko's situation, Michalenko obviously has got better by playing week in and week out for 4 years. Okay, he's not at the level that we think he should be at. But maybe just was never that player in the first place. We didn't identify an attacking left back. We identified a left back that we could afford who was quite solid, and he's improved massively. You look at Nathan Patterson, and he hasn't improved because he could never stay fit, and that's basically the story of his Everton career. Could never stay fit, so he's never been able to build from a young lad picking up experience. So you think to yourself, well, is this an opportunity right now if you've looked at a right back and gone, God, he could be good then, and gone, you know what, let's just buy him and play him, and because we're fine. And actually for the second half of the season, it will be about going, we're all right, we're developing a team, we're giving all these players some experience, and we're moving away from what has got us sort of structurally fine, and we're just going to start looking at, because we've already done it to a point. We've already given Mail and Roll games minutes. We've already given Tim Adabuna minutes. We've already given, Diblin hasn't played enough. Barry, though, obviously was starting to see nuggets of playing games of football that maybe he wouldn't have got otherwise. So why not do that on a larger scale and go and get that one right? There might be a right back out there that a few clubs are looking at, and no one's willing to, make the move. And if Everton go, listen, you're going to play right now. You're going to go into our team, and it'll be a struggle, and we're all going to have to adapt. But actually, we've got experienced centre backs. We've got James Tarkowski. We've got Branthwaite when he comes back. We've even got Jake, who's got experience now. So you're in good hands. I think that might be a better way of looking at it, rather than that's a long-term fix, isn't it? It all comes down to what people want. I don't want Michael Keane and James Tarkowski playing centre-back every single week. I don't see what the point is in that. Jake O'Brien and hopefully Jared Branthwaite are our future. Okay, Branthwaite, we know they'll come calling for him. I don't want those two playing centre-back every week. To me, that's just ridiculous. It doesn't serve any purpose when you've actually got at least one centre-back who's already proved himself there. Now, to move him over, you need a right back. Because I do think that's the issue, isn't it? It's like Nathan Patterson definitely hasn't. He should have left in the summer, let's be honest. Moyes had to play him for Forest, but Moyes would rather have O'Brien there and Michael Keane than O'Brien and him. He feels like that's a more secure thing. And he's got the evidence every day in training. But for us, that's where you go, well, maybe if you just bought a right back now and just give him a go. That's just the way I would look at it right now. But that's on them. Have they identified that young right back that they're looking at? That's the point, isn't it? Or are they looking at someone who's maybe 22, 23, who you aren't going to get right now out of their club? First of all, that's the problem. You're just not going to get them out of their club. In the summer, you might, because clubs are obviously, they've got 3 months to move players out and get players in. This month, let's be honest, if anyone come calling for any of our players this month, we go, don't be stupid. We can't find a replacement for them in 3 weeks. That's not happening. So you've got to understand other clubs will be in the same boat.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because you're trying to... We all want stuff now. We can see that we're in a position where we're in the mix for something that could end up in European football. And it feels like an opportunity that we can't let pass because we might not get another one. There's no guarantee that next year we'll be in exactly the same boat going for it. We might, hopefully we will. And so a lot of people will look at it like that and go, with a little bit more, we could get right in there and be right in amongst it. The flip to that is, we're going to be all right. There's no dangers this season, in my opinion. And therefore, planning should be for next season, really. How you develop, and that is developing Harrison Armstrong. He's going to be a young lad who comes into our midfield and plays every week because he's good enough. Idris is 35. You're trying to turn that over. Jake O'Brien's 24. Jared Branthwaite's 23. They could be the pair, the centre-back pair. I don't think Branthwaite's going anywhere this summer, having had such a long period of time out the team with injury. So I'd expect him to play for Everton next season as well. And hopefully he'll stay fit. And then him and O'Brien can be the centre-back partnership. And Tarky, he'll have to battle it to get in and maybe on the bench. Then you're starting to build a team. The right-back's still a big problem. We haven't got one. Yeah. And Wanlu, we've been linked with a few times, is a really good age. He's 22. Is he someone Everton are going to go and bring in? Don't know. There's Alabiosi, who's at Blackburn but away with Nigeria at the moment. He's 24, but he's a good athlete. Has been in, obviously. Was at Arsenal and done really well for Blackburn, and the prices they're talking about for him is 4 to 5 million, which is not a big outlay whatsoever. No. If you get him in and he plays enough games, and then even if you wanted to move him on, you should double your money on a lad like that, really. So there might be something in that. Maybe you get him and you get another one in the summer.
Well, yeah, because we need two.
Because I imagine Shames will probably call it a day in the summer. He doesn't really fancy Nathan Patterson, does he? So something will happen with Pato there. So therefore you would need two. So it's how you piece it together. We still don't have a left back after Michalenko. If anything happened to Micho, we'd have James Garner having to play there. So I'm really, really surprised that we haven't done anything over that side. Right now we can, it's not ideal, but we can cover right back. With Merlin Roll, with James Garner, with Jake O'Brien, Patterson's still there. Yeah. Coleman is still part of the squad, whatever. But we've got no one on the left. Yeah. Michalenko gets injured or suspended or whatever. What happens? We just put James Garner there as a right-footed left-back to piece it together, when really we should be looking who's available, who's a left-back, who's a left-footed left-back. Can we have a closer look? Because you're not going to... They're clearly going to let Asnu go out on loan. I think, come short at the end of the window. So these are the things you're trying to put down for next season. And Asnu needs to go and play, doesn't he? We're not going to give him. The lad's obviously frustrated, as he showed on Twitter the other night. Yeah. He feels like he's not been given a chance, which is not great. I know you're young and all that, but, you know, if he was getting on for 10 minutes and 5 minutes in some games, then Moyes could be like, look, we really like you.
Yeah.
We want you to develop. We just think you're a little bit short on this. Go and get some games. But at the moment, he'll probably be thinking, this manager doesn't even rate me. Because you would. And you're a young lad, and young footballers are impatient. Everton have also been keeping tabs on Thierry Small. Whether anything happens with that, I don't know. But he's at a really good age, isn't he? What would Preston want for him? So you're trying to piece it together, but there is the argument, do it now or wait for the summer.
Yeah.
Piece it together, just get through, develop, reassess it in the summer. And that's where that's versus grab some players now and really try to get over the line so that you're in even higher base next summer when you're going for players. And in terms of sponsorships and all the money coming in, you'd obviously have, if Everton got Conference League, and there's no guarantee Everton could get in Europe anyway, but if Everton could, then that's at least 3 Conference League games at home. And you should get out of the Conference League groups. Yeah. Even if you go out in the playoffs, you should get through. So it's more money coming in that way. And obviously you're on telly, so it's more money coming in as well as the prize money. So that's the versus at the moment, isn't it? Can we get into Europe? Well, the manager's talking about hopefully being in a position where we might be able to jump in the top 4 in March. And he's not talking about Everton will stay there, of course. He's not, but he's saying being that close that you might have an opportunity. Well, then we've got to start winning games. And to do that, we need all of our squad. And it's great going, yeah, but these players will be back in a couple of weeks. But what if we get injuries again? We're back down again, scratching around, aren't we? So that's sort of what you're playing against.
Yeah.
That's the things you're trying to weigh up.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be any movement till the AFCON's finished as clubs, you know, all over Europe assess what they've got. And obviously players coming off the back of that who might be playing in that.
Yeah.
So I don't think there will be much movement anyway. I don't, scratching my head, Brendan Johnson, gone. That seems to be one of the only ones that's happened in the Premier League. I can't really think. There'll be, City are obviously going to do 1, possibly 2. But they are in a battle for the league, and that's there's a couple of big opportunities. We know one's going to we know one's going to happen, but if they go for a Palace as well, Gay, then that might be a second one. But it is very, very quiet. There is a major tournament going on, obviously coming to the latter stages now. So yeah, the AFCON finishes a week Saturday, doesn't it? So there's still, that takes you into that last week, 10 days of the window, where it normally just picks up anyway, doesn't it? That's organically, that's where it starts picking up.
Because people start getting nervous, don't they? Going, we could do with another one, and players start thinking, I want to play games, especially with the World Cup year.
The what year?
World Cup, yeah. Some players who are maybe just there or thereabouts with the squad might be thinking, let me go there on loan for a few months and really get back in the eye line of me national team manager, because I might be able to force me way in, who knows. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one, but we could certainly do with a couple of fresh faces, really.
I think because December and January are so busy, and obviously the start of January, you've just come off a couple of weeks of midweek games, and then you get the first week in the FA Cup. So it's like, well, if you win, you get through the third round, and you're looking, and it's, again, it's adding to your fixtures. And obviously, Mo's mentioned that we're not in Europe, but other teams will be. Obviously, other teams are in Europe, and they're through. They're looking at their fixtures as well. If a team goes out and they're not in Europe, it works both ways. Everton might look at it and go, we don't actually need any more players because we're not in Europe. But then you might look at a squad. You might look at a squad who's got a big squad, and they might look and go, well, we need to get rid of a couple because we're carrying too many players, and that's where
Chelsea
issues started. But even like Spurs, I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying that could happen to them, couldn't it? they might say, well, we are going to let a couple become available, and then suddenly that's where the doors start opening. And even after the 4th round, what's the 4th round, like the last weekend?
Something like that.
So they, even after that, if teams got...
no, it isn't, is it?
Is it not this year?
Because we've got Leeds on the 20...
True, yeah.
Whatever it is, 27th, is it? 26th, something like that, whatever it is.
So I do think most deals will be getting done. And obviously managerial changes, someone just mentioned there, Manu at like United, last 1 minute he's available. New manager comes in, suddenly he might be part of the plans. They change the formation and he's back in, and that's what... They're the things that can happen. You've mentioned Chelsea there. New manager comes in, or new coach, or new head coach. And he's...
As long as they tell him.
And he's looking at the plays, going, actually, no, we're going to play these plays and that plays, and actually I'm just going to get rid of all you. Or I'm going to bring you back in because I like you, and that means you and you and you are going to have to go. And that's... so it will be, a lot of it will be the last week, I think, anyway.
Yeah. Let me ask you these for the comments before we finish from Everton Viking on...
Oh, the ones from before.
The ones from before. He says... I forgot how many comments we had before. I'll find it in a minute. Just talk amongst yourselves.
It won't be in the comments. It'll be gone.
And I'll tell you. Oh. Right. It was on here.
Oh, it was on Prem.
Yeah. So, we said, what were your feelings when we signed the following players? Okay. Simon Davies. And he put, why did we chase him for so long, in brackets? I liked that. When we went for him, I thought it'd be good because I remember when he come into Spurs' team.
Yeah,
he was really good and energetic, and we got him and scored against the Udinese in a friendly. We won 1-0. And the only sort of goal he got for us was that Birmingham. It was a key goal, wasn't it, when we won at Birmingham? Yeah. But
no, he was garbage.
Yeah, he just didn't work, did it?
No,
didn't work. Manny Fernandez, and then the feeling when it fell through.
The feeling was like
devastation.
You couldn't put the feelings into words.
No.
When he was, because he was signed as well. That was the worst thing. It was done. It would have been like here we go from Fab, and then it was like here we don't go. Well, here we go to Valencia.
Here he goes, yeah.
It was devastating. I remember.
Such a good footballer.
Yeah, he was amazing. He was absolutely amazing as a footballer, and it was probably the worst thing he ever did.
Yeah, because he just never
became the player he should have.
He come back on loan, didn't he? And was good again when we got him back.
He did the classic thing of going to Russia.
Yeah.
And, no one should go to Russia.
Kroll's up.
I'll be honest, when we signed him, I didn't know anything about him. And we lived in a very different age then. You tended to just go, yeah, sound. We're buying this big centre-back. But that whole summer was rushed. And it was just typical Everton. We were buying these 3 players at the very beginning of the window, and none of it happened.
No.
And then towards the end, even though we were Champions League qualifiers, we're scratching around for signings, and it was like Moyes had never watched them, and that was clear because that I couldn't head the ball. Had a successful career in Serie A, but clearly they don't put the ball above.
Slightly different, wasn't it?
Head height in Serie A, but no.
Yeah. Nikita Jelavic. I was quite excited when we got Jelavic because we'd seen him scoring goals and we were crying out for a striker. And I mean, what he did in his first half a season was just unbelievable. Was that 13 goals in 11 games?
Yeah, I think again it was one of them. Even though it was like 12 years ago, it was still that thing of like players still weren't being heavily scouted in terms of the way they are now on the internet. So if you saw a player scoring goals in another country, you just thought, he'll score goals for us. And he did. It's
only really when he put Fellaini up with him that it dried up. His runs, he wasn't getting the same type of ball.
Yeah.
Because Cahill was flicking everything on and moving people around. Yeah. It's got Jelavic space where Fellaini wasn't. And he was just pulling down on his chest, and it was a bit... And then Fellaini was getting on the end of stuff rather than Jelavic, wasn't he? But he was still a good signing for us. Matteo Ferrari. This was classic Moyes, right?
Yeah.
We chased him. And I remember driving down to Fulham. Everton were playing Fulham on the Saturday. I was driving down to Fulham on a Friday afternoon. And I was working there and had left, and we were trying to do the paperwork. And he had to be signed in them days by he had to be registered by 5 o'clock. It wouldn't be now, it'd be midday now, but it was 5 o'clock. And I remember messaging a few people at the club going, is it done? Is it done? Because Moyes was desperate for him. And it was done. So he was registered. Went to Fulham the next day. Wasn't even on the bench. We drew 0-0. Moyes didn't even. I was like, he was scrambling around for him and he didn't even have him. Because he'd said he's going to want him, he might have to play. And he didn't even use him. Which is classic Moyes. I thought he was really good. He had a few injuries. Remember we played Arsenal at home and beat them 1-0 and Beattie scored in the January and he was fantastic. Just a little bit small for a Moyes centre-back, wasn't he? But I thought he was quite good for Ferrari. Injury prone.
What a name, though.
Yeah. Injury prone. James Beattie. And Everton Vikings put, why did we go for him? It made loads of sense at the time. We tried to get him in the August. And we couldn't get it done. And I remember he scored a cracker at Fulham. Southampton won 3-1 at Fulham. He scored 2, I think, but one of them was unbelievable. It was like, oh, if only we had him. Because we were looking for something else, weren't we, to be, right through the middle and get goals. And then I was made up when we got him.
Yeah.
And then
because it was head to head with Villa, wasn't it? So it was like the fact that he chose us over Villa was a big thing. But he came in heavy, didn't he? Came in overweight. I think we played Plymouth on the Cup. It was on BBC One, wasn't it?
Shit, didn't he?
And it was just one of those. It was. He just didn't suit the style of playing a lone striker up front, and he was someone who was a proper like target man, and we needed a runner. And,
he got goals, but just not enough.
No, he scored. He did score a great goals rather than a great goal scorer. Remember one he scored at West Ham, the chip, and then he got one against Fulham, didn't he? But
remember he scored at Blackburn as well.
Yeah, he was a good footballer.
Actually, no, he didn't. He played really well at Blackburn, but McPartland and Arteta.
2-0.
Brilliant. He was brilliant that day. But yeah, he did. Listen, I quite like Beattie, but it didn't work. I didn't like him as in, oh, what a centre forward. I just liked because he wanted it. There's another one that you could tell he really wanted to do well for Everton, and he got on that run. In this first sort of after Christmas we bought him, didn't we? And he got on a good little run of playing well. And then he got sent off, didn't he, against Chelsea, didn't he? Straight away in like the first 10 minutes. Yeah. Buttered Gallus in the corner. And you were like, this is a stop stand. And it never really worked for him. But Yobbo. I was made up when we got Yobbo.
Yeah, I was.
Because it was all new and Moyes had got this centre-back from Marseille and alone with a view to and all this, and he come in and he was fast and strong and good in the air.
He was boss.
Good, he was good, Yobbo.
Yeah, he was boss player.
And James Rodriguez, he said, I'll get pelters, but I'm sorry, he's still better than Jack Grealish for me by a distance, but I do love Jack. But we made up when we got Rodriguez, weren't we? Unbelievable.
What a player. No, he is better than that. He is better than Jack. I mean,
unbelievable.
He was an unbelievable footballer. He's a fellow who played for Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. Unbelievable footballer. Again, circumstances, wrong time, wrong manager.
Right manager,
wrong manager. Yeah.
Wrong manager.
What a player! What a player! And some of the goals he scored again.
It's just devastating. We weren't in the ground to see him. That's the devastation. We didn't see him in the Premier League, but he was fantastic for us, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he's free. Don't get him now. Imagine. And then he said, there's another list how you felt about these transfers. Heitinger.
Yeah, sold as a right back, but wasn't a right back. So
he done all right.
Yeah.
This time.
I wasn't over made up with him because we let Lescott go, and I'd seen this done at City, and he looked like he was in it. He had mistakes in him all the time, but
he was excellent.
He was a great player, wasn't he?
Yeah. Richard Wright.
Again, I was all right when he signed, and then I watched him in the first game and just thought, yo, shite.
But then Sunderland surely made you the week later when he saved that penalty. Surely that made you think, right.
Yeah. Nigel Martin.
Jolie and Lescott. I was quite happy when we got Lescott. They had loads about him, and I know that he'd watched them for a while from Wolves. But I do remember his first contribution come on at left back on the first game of the season. And the ball got played down the line and he just shinned it into the main stand, and people were like, he's shite. And like, it is like his first contribution.
I just remember all the chat about his knees. Yeah. And we never had one bit of trouble with him. Yeah, there was loads of chat about we've got him through the medical.
I believe he did. His knees were the club when he went to City. Everton were like, it's not a bad deal, because if you look at him even now, lately, whatever he'd had was getting worse, but he went to City, played a lot of games, didn't he? And then, obviously, was it that Villa when he started treating with his bum?
Yeah.
So fair play to him.
Yeah.
And we did nearly sign the likes of Scott Parker, Robert Tooth, John Carew. Yeah. Scott Parker I really wanted, and he really wanted to come here, so much so that his agent was on the phone to Everton 10 minutes before he was unveiled at Newcastle, saying if you match what they're paying, he'll sign for you. And Moyes was like, yeah, we're not paying you that much money. Robert Tooth, yeah, that big donkey at Chelsea, but thought he could do all right for us.
Yeah. And
John Carew was always one who was really horrible to play against. Big, powerful striker, wasn't he? Yeah. Frank Rogers said, I posted this last night on the live. Yesterday, didn't have a reply, but my point of view as a season ticket holder, he's in 2-3-3 in the North Stand. I'm literally right up the away fans, and if you think it's annoying being in the South Stand side of the ground, then try being in the North Stand. He says, I have to take a slight issue with you, Baz, and I don't like doing it. Of course you can do it. Says, but the North Stand also tried a few times to get the songs going, but it soon fizzled out. Yeah, I'm not talking about... There will, of course, be people in the North Stand who want to get the singing going. You just need more of them. And someone was saying that two of his lads started to start singing and got told to be quiet the other day. I mean, what's that all about? Mad. He says, I agree it's stupid playing the sirens for 5 or 6 minutes and it was embarrassing. But they also started the usual pre-match songs, There She Goes and Spirit of the Blues, 5 to 10 minutes too early as well. It should all be one after the other.
I think that was because...
building up to the sirens.
I think that was because of the memorial thing. I think that was because of that, but the pre-match stuff is a bit crap.
Yeah, why didn't Forever Everton play?
I don't know. I said this yesterday. I know they did the memorial thing, but I appreciate that. But at the same time, it doesn't need to be a sense of like doom and gloom round the ground, does it? I do appreciate, but I'll be honest, if I passed away and I was on that, I'd still want them to play.
Yeah, because you're actually almost playing that as a tribute to everyone who has passed away, saying we're forever Everton.
We could have, listen, as I said yesterday, we talked about it on the final word, and I think Julia mentioned it today. The atmosphere in the ground is a problem. People, I'm not gonna say it's this section of people, and then say, you know, it's a big thing, and it's also little things, isn't it? It's like a general sense of going the game isn't the same for people. They don't have the same thing. Like, going the match for me has changed. Not saying it's better, not saying it's worse, but it's different. I go earlier, I get in earlier, I try and soak it up, I leave later, but I don't have issues that other people might have, whether they be are taking kids or they're incapable of getting down to the stadium themselves, or they're getting there on public transport. We park up on Pall Mall and we walk down, and that's our routine, and it's fine. It's not. We used to park up in the car park in Stanley Park, so the walk isn't that much different. It's around the same, maybe just a touch longer. We get there, we try and soak it all up. We get in the ground, we have a coffee. We used to get in the ground about 2 o'clock anyway, or an hour before anyway. So we're getting in the ground around the same time. We're just leaving a little bit early for the traffic, and so I appreciate, but there are things. I just feel like there are so many. The people are using certain things as excuses. No one can tell me. I don't care. No one can tell me that people should be leaving in droves. The videos that are online of Everton fans leaving, and like, you know, it's 2-0, it's 3-0. People might find that funny. I don't find that funny. I don't find that funny whatsoever. I think that's embarrassing. I think James mentioned it on the other live there. We pride ourselves of being this fan base that are amazing. That's not an amazing fan base. Fan base that gets off because we're getting beat 3-0, or a fan base that has got half of the ground is going to the toilet every whatever when they scored.
Does that not just tell you that a lot of our fans are over 50 and therefore need to piss quite a lot.
Maybe, but I have said before,
Get a
like
nappy sponsor.
I have said before, there are massive issues in terms of like, and I've said this since day one, and everyone knows. The toilet situation creates so much of a problem, and people, you know, when people can say, well, why don't you this? Why don't you do that? If you sit in certain areas of the ground and you go, you know, you can only go to the toilet or you can only go for a drink at certain times, that's creating problems. The club have made a massive, they've messed up big time with the toilets. It's disrupted the flow of the ground. The other thing I'd do is, I wouldn't have the game on downstairs, live on the TVs when it's happening. I'd sort that out. I wouldn't allow people to go downstairs and just stand there and watch the game. But absolutely bin that. And I just think it's become this thing of like, because it's not Goodison, it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's. I don't understand that mentality. I don't understand it at all. But listen, that's up to people, but I just don't understand this thing of, well, it's hard to get away from this, so we need to get off early. Don't go then. Don't go the game then. Give your ticket to somebody else. Or if you're going to go downstairs, give your ticket to somebody else. I just don't understand that mentality of like, if you know you've got to get off 5 or 10 minutes early, then don't go the game then. I'm sorry if it's done. It's done for you then, I'm afraid. That's just, I said this yesterday, selling our soul to move we haven't sold our soul to move, but we've sold our soul if people are going to get off early, or people are going to just stand in downstairs, or people are going to stay in hospitality. That's selling your soul, because that's not going the game. That's not going the game to support your football club. Staying, the hospitality, it's free ale till final whistle. We might as well just stay in. That is prawn sandwich brigade. So for me, there are lots of issues Everton have to solve, but there are issues that us as fans need to solve. And don't get me wrong, I do understand people are like, I've seen people post, it doesn't feel like home. I'm sitting with people that I don't generally like. I've been put in a situation where, I don't know the person. I think that'll be long-term stuff. Like, the people next to you might be complete strangers, but as you go along, you'll start saying hello to them, and you'll start going, the odd thing, you'll start talking to them, and then after a while, those relationships will start to build. That's not going to be a straightaway thing. And there might be people, I mean, there's this fella by me, and all he does is like I've said this loads of times, he's going to have a heart attack. Now, people are starting to scream at him to sit down. Now, on one hand, I'm like, well, do you really have the right to tell him to sit down? But I also have that thing of like, someone should tell him to calm down. Do you know what I mean? There was a lad by me, and I remember in a game, he was like proper stressing out. And I just went, mate, because it was an injury time, we were winning. I was like, mate, set the timer on your watch, or set the timer on your phone, so you feel like you've got some control. And he was like, yeah, because he was just like, like proper freaking himself out. So I just feel like there's definitely stuff the club need to do. There's absolutely no doubt about that. There's stuff, but I also feel like I take the point on what you said the other day about the metal detectors going through. I take the point about that. I also feel like I don't mind the safety elements of it.
No, the safety elephants. Elephants. The safety elephants. He's boss. The safety element is fine.
I prefer the safety elements.
It was used early on, then it wasn't used.
Yeah.
And then it's back being used, but there's no one organising the lines.
I don't think
it's just creating.
Yeah. No, but there are normally fellas, and I don't know. I do feel like, again, I think this is a point that needs to be stressed. I feel like when you bring in private companies to be the stewards, and they don't feel like they're accountable to anyone, they just like drift off and do what they want. And it's like there's no one really watching them. So when I get there's fellas going, oh, you can use the other gates. And they are like, it is metal detectors, not checking your ticket, they're just checking you, and you go through.
Fine,
But obviously, as it gets busier, are they going to do like the old that fella? Don't check him, but not checking, because it is getting busy. So what's the point? So it's like you either do it properly, but then I think that encourages people. That should encourage people to get there a little bit earlier and go, come, these queues are going to be here no matter what. You've got to get inside the plaza a little bit earlier. But we can't get. So there are those things. There are the toilets. There are if the prices were cheaper inside, people might get in earlier because people are staying outside longer because they don't want to pay any of the prices, and I appreciate that, and I've got no issue with that. I buy nothing but coffee on the inside, really. And all these things that I think people thought were trivia are all starting to mount up, and all do start to great. And it is that thing of transport, getting in the turnstile because you've been told to go on this turnstile, which is over there, but actually you sit over there. Getting onto the concourse being chocker, then wanting to go to the toilet at that time, knowing that there's going to be a massive queue, so you're going down 10 minutes area, and it's like, and as James pointed out before, there's seats everywhere. So again, that's another thing, isn't it? If there's seats everywhere, I think that's like almost like the broken window thing of like, well, there's seats empty everywhere, so who cares if I go down? Or who cares if I get off? Do you know what I mean? It's like, because there are seats everywhere, so if the club don't care enough to sell these seats, then who cares if I get off early? That's just that whole broken window thing. It's like, who cares? These don't care to sell these seats, even though there's loads of people on the waiting list. So what difference does it make if I get off early? And I think it's just like we've lost that little bit of like, I think in the last few years, what we've had is, this is our club and we fucking run it. Like, we as fans run this club because without us, this club would be nowhere. And I feel like this season, we've actually lost a little bit of that because it's like, we don't own this. This is not our club anymore. It's owned by Americans who don't even come to the game. We've got this new flashy stadium. You know, we've lost that. Beforehand, it was like, I've got to be there. We've got to create the atmosphere. Now it's like, no, let them create the atmosphere. And I think we have lost that little bit of like community. And again, that goes back to the people you're sitting with as well. Yeah. Like, I don't know this fella, so I don't care if I get off. I couldn't care less. Where beforehand, it would be almost like, nah, stick around to the end because at least I can have a chat with me mate next to me and all that. So I do think there's loads of factors. There's not just one factor. But
Lazy at 88 says they need to make the entrance areas bigger. 3 poxy entryways into a 52,000.
That's never going to. It's never going to happen. That's one of those things that's never going to happen. So you have to make your peace with that, and that means that people have to start getting into the ground earlier. But like I've just said, the club have got to do their part and encourage people by having cheaper food and drink inside the ground to get them in there. But those gaps are never going to be made bigger.
And Leader Blue, yeah, you're right, I see this. And these are Everton players as well, by the way. The ball boys.
Yeah.
They're all Everton youth players. Can we teach the ball boys to actually go and get the ball and keep the game going? They just sit on their arse even when we lose.
Isn't there a rule that you're not supposed to take the ball off the ball boy? You have to take it from one of the balls that are on.
What's the point of them being there then?
To just go and get the ball when it's gone out and put it back on the cone. I think that's an actual rule. I'm sure that's a rule.
Yeah, maybe then. Because I do look sometimes the ball and I'm thinking...
They changed it after COVID. Didn't they change it after COVID? Wasn't it like during COVID? They changed the rules, that ball, but you couldn't take a ball off a ball.
Yeah. Mark says it's a multi-ball system now. The ball boys are part of that and aren't allowed to throw balls at the players. Yeah,
I did think it was a thing. I know it's weird. I know that is weird.
Fair enough, mad. Sinisius says, what was the excuse for the hundreds that left Goodison early and missed Tahi's equalising goal against Liverpool?
Mate, if anyone watches me who's listened to me for years and years, I despise people getting off early. I've never done it in my life bar once, and I've said when I did that, and there was circumstances behind that. I never go. I never go off it. I never. It doesn't matter how bad it is. I've sat there and I've sat there while it's minus whatever and against Batty Borisov. I've watched us when we played Atalanta and I've got an entire row to myself. I'm not saying that makes. By the way, I'm not saying that makes me fan number one. What I'm saying is I'll never understand, especially when you're losing 2-1. But I'll never understand why. Why are you giving up on your team when you'll quite happily sit there when it's nice? Like, it has to be a back and forth.
But against Forest, it was.
Yeah, I know, and I called it out.
That was what I found mad.
I called it out on my video.
Listen, if I'll always find mad people walking out at 3-0 after 52 minutes of a game of football. Yeah. I'll always find that inexcusable because the amount of money it costs you to go. Why are you walking out of something that's there's still a half a foot. Everton might score. Everton might still get beat 3-2 on Sunday, but might score 2 worldies, and you've missed them because you've got. You're there to see an event, aren't you? But the Forest game, we were winning 3. We don't have loads of 3-0 wins at home where you can enjoy the last 5 minutes. We don't do it, but people went. But I know the odd person might have to. I get that.
But the thing about it is, football. I know it doesn't happen to us that often, but football is a weird game. You know, things can turn. You only need to get that one goal, and suddenly the game might turn round. It can happen. But what does it say if you're not, like Moyes asked about it before, and he was never going to have a go at the fans. But I just feel like, as a fan base, we have to be able to call it out a little bit and say, what is going on? Why are all these people getting off early? Now, if that starts a conversation, right, of why people get off early, it's like I said the other day, I don't sit in the lower south, so I can't say, why aren't the lower south singing and creating an atmosphere? That needs people in the lower south to start a conversation going, why is the atmosphere terrible down here? And why are people sitting down and start that conversation? But I do think it's important we start the conversation. I'm not going to sit here and go, you're bad fans, but I will go, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you getting off? And then they might say, because it's this thing, it's because whatever, and then we can have a conversation about that thing. Like I've said from day one, the toilet situation and the pricing situation in the ground are a joke, and they affect things. They affect the atmosphere. They affect people getting up and going down, and getting up and going down, and getting up and going down. Like
Mark's right though. So if you've got prostate issues, you've got no choice. Please don't have a go, people go in the loo. But the club needs to make it easier, Mark, doesn't it, for people to... The odd person going to the toilet, you've got to go out. If you've got to go, you've got to go. And especially when it's fraps, you've got to go even more, haven't you? But it's when loads get off. Loads of people aren't just there. Loads of people's prostates aren't playing up at that time moment, are they? Do you know what I mean? I'm not some of the odd pair, of course. Of course.
All right, I've just seen a comment here, right? And all right, so Graphical BJ says, I left on Sunday at 75, great name by the way, because I went with my 70-year-old mother and she was cold. Right, well, number one, it's January. Of course it's fucking cold, right? Should have known that before you're gone. Sorry. No, but you should. I'm sorry. It was freezing. No, I'm just saying. I'm putting it out there, right? Number two, if Everton were winning 3-0, would you have left? That's the question.
Well, he might have done.
Well, that's fine. That's why I'm asking them the question. That's why I'm asking the question.
Right, okay.
We can't have this situation where we can't have these conversations.
No. You can have the conversation. Yeah. What I'm saying is, there will be in that stadium individual people who might feel like they have to go or have got to go for a reason. I don't have an issue with that. My problem is when there's hundreds streaming out. But how can hundreds stream out after 50 minutes of a Premier League game?
But the problem is, Baz,
that's what I don't get.
You've just put them all in a big thing, and one person just said their story, right? But every single one of those people might have a story like that, and that's why it's important.
Hundreds, though.
No, I know, but that's why it's important to go. That's why it's important not to buy into the fucking sob stories.
Pack it in.
No, but it is though. It's January. Of course, it's freezing. I'm sorry, that's the reality. We play in a place where it's not necessarily great to get to. That can't be your excuse for getting off 10 minutes early. Plan your journeys better, or don't go. I'm sorry. Honestly. This is these. If we're not going to have the conversation, then nothing's going to change, and we're going to become an entitled fan base, and that's when we lose our soul. And if someone's asking David Moyes the question, it's important. Like I said before, the South Lower, someone has to ask that question: why is the atmosphere terrible in the place where it's supposed to be the best? Because it is. It's dire. People might go, people are sitting down. Well, if people are sitting down, someone needs to have a word with those people and go, do yourselves a favour and move somewhere else then. Because it wasn't set up for people to sit down. It's a safe standing area for people to stand up and create an atmosphere. That's the point. That's when we lose our soul. Not because we moved. We brought the same people with us. And I think it's important that we have these conversations of why. And people might go, by us it's crap. By us it's crap. Blah, blah, blah. I have to trudge up. I have to trust. So
I'm just saying there will be the odd person who I don't think you can have a go at person.
I'm not.
But what I'm saying is, I do find it doubtful that hundreds and hundreds of people streaming
Right.
because we're 3-0 down.
Yeah,
It's
no, I
because
know.
we've all got issues.
Exactly. No, but I'm saying it's like when people come back, oh, this is my reason. It's like, but there's a fundamental reason, isn't it? Right. If you go and you're not going to know it's going to be cold, right? Take a blanket.
My mother and like again, it's not. Oh, mine's better than yours and all that. My mother-in-law's 90.
John.
And still goes. There's a season to go.
I can, mate. I can tell people because ultimately, right, it's a game of football that we've been going to watch for years, and suddenly people have just decided that they're all going to get off after 50 minutes. No, I think there has to be a conversation about this. I'm sorry, I do think there has to be a conversation about this because it. Number one, you get to the 90th minute and the place is empty, right? And number two, we're supposed to be supporting our team. Yeah, I think we do need to have this conversation, and I think that's the problem now. Of like, you can't tell. We can as a group, as all of us, have a conversation. As a fan base, we need to have this conversation. Like Baz was saying, there'll be some people who've got reasons, but there'll be loads of people who're just like, I'm going home. Seriously, come on.
King Hoddle, she's mad. She's 90 and goes. Doesn't leave.
James Gray, my mum's 74. She stayed and had a beer. But if you know it's going to be cold, get a blanket. Get a blanket.
I mean, you couldn't do that in my stand. Kick you out and they don't open anywhere, so you can't even have a coffee to warm you up or a hot chocolate or something.
Kick you out to the other blanket.
Yeah, couldn't have.
Probably would.
Hey, it's because he tries to take an elephant on the back of it.
Looking for the safety elephant. It's that bloody safety elephant. But what we need is the actual thing of the safe standing area has just got. And if you're in there, and you might not like me saying it, but it was. Yeah. Everyone knew it was a standing area. Everybody. It was told enough times. So I do slightly doubt people if they go. I wasn't told it was a standing area. I would slightly doubt that because it's been that ever since the designs are out there, right? But I think what you have to do as a football club this summer, and probably start needing to do it now, because I guess we're all going to get something through the door in a couple of weeks telling us it's gone up again, even though we're not getting, what we were promised right now. You're going to have to start saying to people, it's a standing only in there. And if you don't want that, then you're allowed to move to a different area of the ground. Because what do we want? Do we want it to become a stadium where everyone sits, it's quiet, everyone sits, and we become Fulham? And again, people think I don't like Fulham. Fulham's a great place to just go and watch a game of footy and not be affected. Is that what we want Hill Dickinson? Or do we want Hill Dickinson being a difficult place? People go, we're going there, it's going to be horrible. It's the loud, the aggressive, it's on top of you, blah. It's really hard to win there. Or do we want everyone going, I can't wait to go to that Hill Dickinson, just watch a game of footy? The fans, Everton fans are great, they're quiet, but you just go in, it's lovely, and they all get off anyway after an hour. We don't want that, do we? So let's get that safe standing area standing. Everton, my opinion, and it's only my opinion, need to be bold in this and go, right, we're increasing it. We're going to, it's just standing. From next season, we can get another 2,500 fans in, and they'll become season ticket holders, because there's no point trying to sell unique seat, unique whatever they're called in there. Get it rammed with people who want to stand. It's out there, want to stand, and make that lower south an incredibly vibrant, noisy standing area where people start becoming envious of it right now. And do us a favour as well. I know you're going to doubt that this would happen, but this is what should happen. It probably won't happen. Two things. One, paint all the fucking concrete. It's a joke. And two, paint all the bleeding fences in that area so they're not silver. So it just doesn't look like just sections of silver bleeding fences. Get them painted so that it disperses into the crowd, so it just looks like one. And then at least you've got one sort of aggressive end.
Yeah.
Where the fans are right on it and are up for it and try to and it's difficult. Someone said it yesterday and they're absolutely right, but it never ever would have happened. But it would have been great if they could have gone, no, all you go away and you're unbelievable. Please go and stand in the south stand. It would have been amazing, wouldn't it? Because our fans away are incredible. They go. They know they're going to have... They know in general most of the away supporters stand up. Yeah. Whenever you go to an away game, Evertonians don't sit down. No matter what age you're at, they're all stood up. They're noisy. They back the team. Imagine if you could have got them and gone, you're all behind the goal. It would have been amazing. But I think that's what Everton should maybe move towards and see whether they can...
By the way, my opinion is just that it's crap that everyone gets off. Everyone will have a reason, sound. I'm not asked, right? Whatever your reason is for getting off, my opinion is it's crap. And my opinion is it didn't happen at Goodison Park because it didn't happen at Goodison Park. It's that simple. It didn't happen at Goodison Park. Yes, there were games where you'd look towards the end and the park end would have people missing. Yeah. And we called it out then, by the way. And when the big games in the Gladysees where people go missing, we called it out. What we're saying is, though, when you can see it and when you can see hundreds streaming out, it's not great. But the question mark is, the question is, what can change it? What can make it change? Is there anything that can make it change? That's the point. Because if we don't have the conversation, if we just leave it, if we're not saying, like before when we were talking about people getting stuck outside, is there a way to get people in area? Would food prices and drink prices encourage people to get in area so there's an easier flow into the stadium? If the answer is yes, then we need to have that conversation. And it's the same with people leaving early. What is the thing that would keep people inside the ground? Now, if it's transport, then we need to start that conversation, don't we? We need to get Everton Football Club to put pressure on the mayor and the council to get better transport so that people don't feel like they have to get off early. The club are accountable in this. I keep on saying it. I think people should be staying after the game. I don't understand. I think it makes more sense to stay longer. But what I've noticed is that when we win, there's no problem getting a drink or getting a coffee or whatever you want. But when we lose, it's like they can't wait to get rid of you.
I can't get one. Whether we win, lose, or bleed.
So hang on, coming to that. So we need to have a situation where no matter what the score is, you're allowed to stay in the bar for an hour after the game. But the other side of that is the lower. You've got to start opening bars and encouraging people to stay after the game so that people feel like, I'm just going to stand around. I'm going to stick around for 20 minutes. And by people sticking around after the game, the people who leave who don't want to get a drink find it easier to get away from the ground because there's less people leaving the ground. And that's what I'm saying. So there's so much of we could have a huge conversation about this, but if we don't address this, it's like when I've heard people, the ground, the atmosphere is shit. We can all admit that, can't we? But it's
been moments when it's been amazing. But the fleeting moments.
But the first thing you have to do is admit it, isn't it? The first thing you have to do is admit that the atmosphere at this ground is absolutely crap. And we have to get to the bottom of why that is. But if we just sit there going, no, we've got the best ground going, the atmosphere is amazing. It's not. But we just have to
become like the tourist club.
Yeah,
who pretend that their atmosphere is amazing. When it isn't, in general. Most times it's quiet. They play a song and it's noisy, and then it's silent till they score a goal, and then it's silent till they score a goal.
And that's it. And it's the same with the empty seats. Everyone have to hold their hands up and go, they've got something massively wrong here.
What about this, though? What if those seats are sold and people don't turn up?
But then, again, without sounding like an absolute knobhead, right? If people aren't going the game, and they're leaving seats empty, then maybe questions need to be asked about who owns those seats.
2 seats in front of, not directly, but to the right of me. Yeah. No one's been in.
And by the way,
and it's January.
That people could be holding season tickets for their own, and basically someone might have gone, I can get an Everton season ticket here for £700, and when they come to play Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool, we're going to sell those tickets for £500 a piece and make money back. And if that's the case, and that's stopping James from getting a season ticket, Emma from getting a season ticket, whoever's out there getting a season ticket that we know of, if that's stopping them, that's not on. That's not fair. That's just touting. That is just touting.
Right.
And again, so if
But how have they got it though? That's what I think. That's what's mad about that, is that because of what you needed to get it, the criteria needed. Tazul said it's funny how everyone's prostate plays up when Everton are losing. I'm sure that's tongue in cheek.
Keith, you keep on moaning, you keep on saying you've been going the game for 50 years, but you don't find any issue with people getting off early. See, I just find that mad. I find that mad in the first place, that you've been going the game for 50 years and you don't find it weird that people are getting off.
I mean, it's fine. You're fine to bring it up, no issue. And Keith's fine if he doesn't agree with it. That's fine. That's a conversation. There's no issue with that. It's just, I just found it mad. The amount of people that left so early, Keith, they were streaming out when it went 3-0 and it was 52 minutes gone, I think, of the game. Okay. I think we all knew it was never ending 3-3. You know what I mean? But you stayed, don't you? Everton got a goal back, and if it had gone 3-2, someone put it before, if Everton would have got the 5th goal in the game to make it 3-2, I think Brentford would have been all over the gaff. Do you know what I mean? So, listen, it is what it is. I just found it really mad, Keith, when lots of people left 3-0 up against Forest. I found that mad because it was like the lads have played really well and won, and you should be there at the end to share your enjoyment with the players and to show them, look at what it's like when we win. Goodison was never like that. When Everton won at Goodison, it was like they played a grand old team and that place was bouncing and you could see the players giving it that. Now, by the time they come down to the South Stand, there's hardly anyone in it. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, they're like clapping and you're like, well, they must be looking going. And it'll look worse because it's so big. So when people leave, it just looks worse. Yeah. I'm always thinking from that perspective of like, what do the players think? What the players who are looking, who we might want to convince to come to our football club, if they see, like, say they're just, this is how weird I am, right? But say, like, I'm watching a live game occasionally, or say a player, I always think like this, say a player sat at home on a Sunday, Everton are on live, for argument's sake, on a Sunday, and a player sat at home on his couch, and it's the live game, and Everton are interested in him. And at the end, the whistle goes, Everton win the game, and the camera's following the players, and it shows the stadium, and there's hardly anyone in it. I'm thinking, if I'm that player, I'm thinking, oh, that's weird.
Oh,
why have the fans?
The Forest one was miles worse.
That's what I mean.
That was miles worse. Like, that was just miles worse. I just, it can't become a culture though where we just like get off because we're losing a game of football. I mean, that can't become the culture.
That's all I'm saying. I just think I'm not. Listen, anyone. I can't sit there. I really wanted to walk out against Newcastle when we were 4, because I hate Newcastle and we were 4-0 down and their fans are singing, and I was thinking it's free, because that night was cold. That was probably the coldest it's been even yesterday, and I was sat there 4-0 down at home to Newcastle and there was still half an hour to play, thinking I could just get up here. I feel like getting up and walking out, because it was and Spurs was bad as well, because it was Tottenham was bad because the clocks had gone and everything just come together that day, didn't it? And all that. But Newcastle, I was thinking I could get off here easily, and I didn't.
I do think, like, as I said, there's a larger conversation, because I think people have not adapted to the new stadium, and therefore they don't have a bond, almost like a bond with the stadium. So therefore, it is dead easy to just get up and get off. I mean, it's dead easy to get up and get off because the whole row doesn't have to stand up, because you can just like sort of squeeze past them. But I just find it, I find it disappointing, and as I said before, I feel like that's the part when you sell your soul, is, you know, when you're not sticking around for the entire game. And
but let's try to sort of, like you say, it's a thing that needs bringing up.
It's a conversation.
Hopefully everyone will.
It's a conversation.
Thinking about it with each other. Doesn't matter. It's Ped saying it or whatever, but it's just out there. So I'm sure there was lots of other people sat there on Sunday looking around going, this doesn't look good, does it? No one in the, a lot of people, not no one, loads stayed, don't get me wrong, but loads are gone, and you're like, this doesn't look great. And people in the corporate seats had all disappeared because they were obviously trying to get a bevy in before they have to pay for it and all that. It's just frustrating. I just don't, you see as well, if when I left at the end, because I'm literally getting kicked out by the stewards, and I'm not angry, just to let people go down the thing. If I walked outside and it was easy to get home, I'd think, well, obviously people are just getting off to get... But you can't. I've walked out that ground with nobody in it, virtually, and still walked, shuffled along Regent Road till you get over the bridge.
Yeah.
And people had left after an hour, and people have left... Do you know what I mean? So I doubt... If more than like 50 people leave at once, it's an easy way to get away from it. But I can understand it when you're getting belted, but not when we were winning. I did just find that a bit mad. I think it was a bit mad. But what can you do?
Well, we have to do, but we have to do something. though. That's the point, isn't it? It's we have to do something. We have to do something about the atmosphere. We have to do something. Again, people will go, well, it's the football. I just don't agree with that, because the football has been so much worse in the last few years and people have stuck around.
Do you think, though, just on, I mean, we'll finish, it was only supposed to be half an hour, but, it's worth chatting about. But do you think people maybe thought, we finished the season so well, and then we've gone to this new shiny thing, and we started the season quite good at home, really, and people just expected us to keep winning and winning and winning. No, I know, but isn't that what football's about, though?
It is, of course it is. Like I said to you before, the night, like, you get to there and you're like, all I want to do is have a quiet season and a normal season, and then we're having a quiet, normal season. We're not.
Because we're...
No, I know.
I think if European places were like 10, 11 points away from us, and we were 10, 11 points away from relegation, I think a lot more people would be a bit like, it is what it is, get on with it. Because it feels really close. People are sort of looking ahead. And you do have this thing, we've seen it. After Burnley, reading the comments, we were the worst team ever. We were a joke, Moyes had to go. We beat Forest. We can defo get in Europa League. Forget about the conference, Europa League. We lose to Brentford, we're terrible, Moyes has to go. We beat Wolves tomorrow night, 3-0 or something. Thursday, all our comments and people, what you see and all that'll be like, right, that was a blip against Brentford. We can win a filler, we can beat these, we can... Because people are a bit like that, aren't they? The team's like that. But we've got to remember that this was always going to be a tough period, because we took out NGI, we took out Idrissa Gana Gay, we lost Kieran Dewsbury, who was playing brilliantly. Grealish hasn't been really fit. He was a couple of games where, he's missed a game. And we haven't had Brandwaite. But the level of players dropped, so the performance.
Maybe we've just swapped booing for leaving.
But then, fair enough. Fair enough.
I think a good boo sends a better message.
Hey, Ted says, easy fix threatened to bring American chance starters in if the atmosphere remains crap. But, listen, it's, again, it's one of them. Let's just see what we can do to make it a little bit better. And that's all we can do, isn't it? Have the conversations.
That's all it is. It's about what.
See, can we all get together to do something?
What will make this better? What will make this stadium better now that the novelty's obviously massively worn off for people? What makes this stadium? That's the question. If people want to take it personally and give me every in and out of why they get off early, that's up to you. I'm not particularly asked, but at least, if we're having a conversation about it and we're trying to get to the bottom of things and we can feed all this back to the football club one way or another, whether it's through the fan.
He says they play really shite, loud music in the ladies, so we can't hear what's going on.
Okay.
And it's all, listen, they've said about the toilets, that's getting sorted, haven't they? That needs sorting, but it's not going to get done till the summer. So there's still going to be big issues with people trying to get through. I've got to say, we're in my bit in the lower east, it's fine. Although they still haven't no one has still put female it still says male next to where the male entrance is as well. And there was no steward there.
I think, yeah, that's ridiculous. I think what something maybe the club got wrong, you alluded to before, was they probably should have let people into the ground to actually view seats before they got there, because I do think that the upper south is a lot steeper than what people thought, and people who are, older people are finding it harder to get down those stairs, and they obviously take the time, which makes sense.
I was going to say, you can't go up and down them stairs quickly.
No, you can't. So
they're not proper stairs.
They're like small,
shallow stairs.
So it's like, So it's like, I think if they'd allow people in to look at the different seats and gone, I think people got dragged in. I think a lot of more people would have picked the north stand than the south stand if they'd been given the choice. I don't think people realised how good the north stand in terms of like
view and stuff.
The view. It's a lot more.
But I believe that needs work though on toilets and facilities.
The north stand though in akin to like say the Gladys Street, it's a lot closer to the Gladys Street.
Yeah, now it is. Yeah,
in terms
the
of
way it is,
in terms of that kind of thing. So there's so much. Don't take it personally. There's so much. If you've got a reason for getting off early, then it needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed. It's as simple as that.
The problem, he says, the problem with the upper south is on the far left side, everyone crowds that toilet, but there's no one on the far right side waiting for the toilets there.
Well, I'm in the centre and I simply just can't go anywhere. If I go down those toilets, go down those stairs, I hit a wall of people. So I can't.
Can that be made better, do you think, or is it just the design of it?
It's too shallow. The walkways are too shallow, but because people are queuing for the toilet, so that takes up the walkway as well, because the toilets are too. So there's not enough movement, not enough free movement. So
James says, I like the north except the concourse.
Well, it's very narrow, isn't it? It's very, very narrow.
But Goodison was, wasn't it? I suppose. But you don't expect
the concourses were big in the parking, and they
weren't big in the flipping Bullens.
No,
crazy, but. But yeah, listen, there's challenges, isn't there? But we need, I think we all agree, we all want the same thing, don't we? We all want a good team, of course. And we all want the ground to be noisy and the atmosphere to be amazing when we go, don't we? That's what we all want. I don't think you'd get Everton. I'd be amazed if there's Evertonians who are going to a game who don't care about the atmosphere. They were just like, I'm not bothered if it's noisy or not. I can't imagine there's too many of them as Blues who are doing that. So we all want that to happen. We all want to watch a good team that scores goals. We all want to be together.
Yeah.
So it's whatever we can do as fans to try and help. Yeah. Listen, it was never going to be a perfect opening season. It just wasn't. No clubs had it. Spurs got a fantastic stadium. And I know that they had issues. They had issues with even getting results, I think, at times, Spurs early on, and have had issues with certain things. But, so it's never going to be an easy transition. Winning games does make it better, but it doesn't sort the root issues out. So, there we go.
I just think, yeah.
Ollie Watkins, CO888 says Ollie Watkins had a pop of Villa fans for taking results for granted and leaving, and look where they are in the league. Copites won a league and moan constantly. We are terrible, so what chance have we got? Well, maybe it's society. I saw someone before saying it's the thing with like the internet and responses on it, and people now just won't, they have no patience. They just go getting beaten, getting off, and they just go. Don't know how true that is, but maybe society's just changed a bit, and people are sat there going, right, I'm going. Martin Wone says on the atmosphere point, remember that United game when drew 3-3? We were 3-1 down in the 90th minute. It was Goodison was still full. It was, and we should have won it. Martin Atkinson blew the whistle as Jags went through. Shithouse. Hey, says, hey Baz, I miss my cramped Upper Bullens concourse. Yeah, I know, mate, I know. But there you go. Right, take it easy. We're going. If you're a Premier member, we're doing a tier list. James has got the tier list of 5.
Now.
Yeah.
The return of the tier list. So go and vote in that. And do it properly.
Tier list this week is worst excuses people for getting off early.
But that could be one. But it isn't. Like, subscribe, do all that. Thanks for watching. See you later.